How's it going, everyone? We're here to check out what's new in Rust with this week's patch. This is the November 1st patch, and it is a force wipe for servers, and it brings in some new content. So let's start out with some of the water stuff. As you'll notice, the boat now has a real model made by the team. Tom has done an awesome job on it. It's got some algae growing on it, all sorts of stuff like that. The stash has been made to be fixed. Some people were complaining on the staging you couldn't really access it, and you can access it much better now. You'll see it has a nice little fuel container underneath there, and altogether it's just pretty nice. The SS Helk is still there, but kind of scraped off and mossy. And one of the reasons that one of the proper cool things about this new boat model, besides the fact that it's now custom to Rust and no longer a Unity asset, is its ability to be skinned. Now, I don't know if that went with today's patch or not. I'm waiting to hear back from Helk still about that. But this and the hot air balloon should be skinnable either now or soon. Or eventually, or maybe one day. I don't know. We'll just have to see how that goes. But alongside with this, one thing they're doing is, you've noticed there's not really a whole lot of waves or tide. It's not exactly done all... You know, it's not something... It has the effect of it, but it's not really there. Well, we've got this awesome clip right here showing that they are working on dynamic kind of waves and water systems, which is really cool and it's gonna be awesome for kind of boat fare. Next up, there has been some work done to the cargo ship. There's actually two variants of it now. This is the new variant. The old one pretty much looks the same, and we've got all these loud scientists here. But you'll see this one doesn't have as much stacked stuff and actually has some Chinooks in here. There's some Bradleys, and it's pretty cool. They've got, you know, transportation of this stuff. There's more radioactive sludge on here as well. And you'll notice on both cargo ships, there are now more crates. And yeah, a lot of people are kind of like, there's, you know, not a whole lot of loot to fight over on these things besides the, you know, initial unlockable crates. So now it should have a locked crate, an elite crate, 4 times military crates, and 4 regular crates on it. After 10 minutes, the loot will respawn, but in different locations. There's, it says it will happen 3 times before the cargo ship will leave, which is now roughly about 50 minutes. And a new round will begin of, like, a new round of loot. The way you'll know it's there is the horn goes off. So that's kind of cool right there. You should expect new enemies spawning in alongside with that. But the cargo ship now actually has an interior. So if we go ahead and boom, clip in here, look at that. So you can come through this little area here, and you're gonna head on down, and boom, you're now in the interior. There's more scientists and so forth floating around, and yeah, the loot can pretty much be anywhere. It can be above deck, below deck. You're gonna have to kind of search it out. And I think that's really cool. It adds a little more dynamic to this, and you know, a lot of people were complaining that the ship was leaving while there was crates with timers still going. It will no longer do that. It'll stick around until the timer has run out and give you a few minutes there to kind of go ahead and pull the loot off of it. This bottom part may eventually become a puzzle. The team is still, you know, deciding whether or not they want to do that, so you might need key cards to get in here, but as of right now, you don't, and that's pretty awesome. I do have to say I really like this new Bradley and Chinook variation of the boat. It's definitely really cool. With the hot air balloon, well, there's going to be some kind of way to counter it, right? Now, you can shoot it, but it's going to take quite a few bullets to go ahead and take that thing down. So, well, we've got a brand new item, and it is the SAM sight. As you'll see right here, it costs 500 scrap. It cannot be learned, but you can go ahead and buy it here whenever you want one. And then you can also buy the ammo for it for 75 scrap for 6 of them. And those are researchable, which is cool. So we'll get back to that in a little second. A couple other changes. The L96 now has about far less durability to it, so it will break more often. The tactical gloves now only reduce aim sway by 80% instead of 100, so they're not quite as OP as before. You'll notice the water jugs have a nice golden color to them and a little more detailed model to them. That's for the whole Charitable Rust. So why is it yellow? This year's Charitable Rust is in support of Charity Water. Join November 17th. I know Repug and myself will be there, joining the Rustified crew and the devs and checking that out. So that's a pretty fun little thing right there. So basically, we'll go take a look at the SAM site. one last thing I forgot to mention, the L96 is also more expensive now. So if you go over to Bandit Camp and hover over here, you'll see it's now 700 scrap for it instead of 5. So that should make it a little more of a thought process behind it. Like, do I want to spend this scrap? Do I have the scrap? Of course, you know, it's what people ask for, so, you know, it's something. So for the SAM sites, you're gonna have to go ahead and, you know, have at least foundation down. You can't just place them on the ground wherever. Once you got a foundation or ceiling, they can be placed down there. They rotate a full, you know, kind of 360 degrees kind of thing. And you can put in some stacks of ammo there. And as of right now, it doesn't require fuel. I don't seem to know. It has a fuel tank, but I think eventually this will probably work on electricity. Not 100% sure on that. But yeah, as you can see, the thing has 1,000 health, and you can, you know, break it down and so forth. But it's going to take a little bit with 1,000 HP. So this thing will tear apart the hot air balloon. So let's do a hot air balloon. Oh, man. We spawned it, like, on the SAM site. As you'll see, they spawn in deflated now, and the weird ropes and so forth aren't all messed up. You do need fuel to run these guys, so it's about 4 to start it. And then it's about like 14 every few minutes or so after that. It's kind of weird, but the fuel storage is up here. Go ahead and drag fuel in there. And once you've got that, you can start inflating your balloon. These will show up around the world, and they require cloth to repair. They got 1,500 HP. And you can fit about 4 or 5 people in here comfortably. It also got a little small stash added to it, which is quite neat. And oh, yep, the SAM turret goes all mad against it. It is following it like crazy. Here, let's give it some ammo. Let's see. I wonder what the max you can actually stack these to is. Let's do 100 and see what they snap off into. Oh, I guess stack size. That's interesting. Do they? They just stack? Oops, you also notice the model looks a little familiar. They're pretty much rusty looking smoke rockets, and you'll see this thing is just tearing the hot air balloon around. Now, it does take a little bit while to kill it. As we'll see, the hot air balloon here has... can we get into it? Yep, as it starts to take damage, it will also lose altitude. And you see here it pretty much crashed, and you'll see its HP is about going down 50 per rocket hit. One more, it's toast. Boom! There we go. The balloon is dead. So let's go ahead and disarm this guy over here. And, oh, you can hear some of the rockets going off in the distance there. Let's spawn another hot air balloon for ourselves here. Let's get a little bit more fuel. And all right, let's go ahead and jump in. Holds 500 at a time. And so the way this balloon works basically is you want to kind of get up to a high enough altitude where you notice the windsock kind of starts to go crazy. And you gotta watch the windsock. Direction it or the flags, you got a little flag on each side you can kind of, you know, follow it. Once it's fully inflated, you'll start to go up. Up we go. Oh, also do not try throwing C4 in one of these. They get stuck. So even if you do that, it does that. You see I threw it straight out the opening. So yeah. Boom. Any moment. Oh, there it goes. So yeah, you're gonna end up killing a lot of your hot air balloon that way. Now, like I said, you can repair it using cloth. So let's get some cloth in here, but it has a cooldown. You'll see I can't repair it right after it's taken damage, so that will help, you know, from people trying to, you know, quickly repair and get away. So what you want to do is watch it, and once you see it's going in a direction, you kind of have to either turn it up or on or off. The burner also only goes for so long before it starts to land. And when the flag's kind of going the right direction you want to go, you let it burn, and you want to avoid trees and stuff. I don't know if you still clip through trees. Let's see what happens here. No, you definitely kind of bump into it, but it's not too bad. And yeah, so, you know, now if we don't want to go that way, we want to wait till it kind of, we fall, we keep going that direction, turn it back on, kind of course correct us a little bit this way. See, now we're going to the left. It's definitely a harder thing to fly. I know I'm not going to be very good at it without a lot of practice, but it's definitely a really fun thing. So people are asking, of course, well, you know, how much damage can you actually do to this thing? And it doesn't take a whole lot of damage from guns, but you definitely can. You can see it goes down about 5 per bullet. So, you know, it can take a while there. And of course, we can't repair it now, which I was going to show anyways. But, yeah, it's definitely a fun thing. It's the first way to transport in air, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this works. So one of the main things people will, you know, we'll let that thing go. People are saying, well, what about, you know, getting stuff from launch site and so forth? Well, let's go take a look at launch site, shall we? Alright, so here at launch site, you'll see it has its own SAM stations, so you're gonna have to be careful about that. Also, while we're here at launch site, the little trick of where you could avoid taking radiation has been nerfed. Radiation protection from the wetsuit has gone from 20 to 15, making that little tricky outfit no longer a viable thing. Now the cool thing about these guys is you can actually go ahead and damage them. You'll see explosives seem to do about 10 each. Go ahead and hit this guy with a rocket. Let's see what we got. That was a bad. I think, are we using HV rockets? I think we are using HV rockets. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's go ahead and see. So 644. Let's do a regular rocket. 664. That brought it down, so basically almost about 100. And then let's see how incendiary, I know they do quite a bit to regular turrets. Let's see how it does on the SAM. So yeah, it's chewing up its health pretty well. Look at that. Boom, it's getting destroyed. So once it's destroyed, it will go out of operation and it will smoke like this, and then it will slowly heal over time. So you can take these down and then come up with your hot air balloon if you like, but you're gonna have to take out 4 of these suckers first. So that's gonna be a little bit on the complicated side. Lastly, before we go ahead and head out, one thing I didn't get to show off in my last video just because of timing, drones are being worked on. The model is finished. Damien has done an amazing job, and they're just waiting for coding and implementation into the game. Originally, these are supposed to be something that kind of spies on you for the scientists, and the idea of maybe be able to take them over and scout with them was a big maybe. So I don't know if they'll ever be something that can be used for the player, but it's definitely gonna be a cool little thing to add to the atmosphere of what's going on the island. It's definitely cool to have, you know, the drones flying around. It's a really old concept, and I'm glad to see that it's finally got some modeling done and has the potential to be added into the game pretty soon. So I'm very excited for that. Let's go ahead and wrap up this video and check out the last couple of things. Alright guys, lastly, one thing you want to keep in mind is it will shoot a hot air balloon no matter what. So if you're going to be taking your hot air balloon out for the day, you're going to want to make sure to empty out your SAM turret before you inflate it. The other thing is the hot air balloons will decay, so you want to make sure every once in a while you go over to it and repair it if you want to keep yours around and not have to look for a new one. Pretty much that covers the awesome stuff put in this update. Now the devs put a ton of love and work into getting this hot air balloon to work. Some people might be like, well, that's really stupid and lame, I don't even want it, I'm not going to use it, it looks like a pain to fly, whatever. But what you don't understand is the functionality that they got into the game to make this work is a huge deal. The airflow and all that kind of stuff that goes into it, the wind movement, you know, the calculating with the windsocks and all that can be applied to so much other things in the game, as well as they've refined that whole being able to stand on a moving object and move around yourself, not having to be stuck to a seat. That partnered, you know, I'm forgetting the exact term for it. It's partnered something rather. It's partnered, let's see here, I feel bad. But yeah, it's basically laying the groundwork for something that's going to be really awesome here. And I just love the fact that I think it's great, and I can't wait to see it applied to more vehicles. Now, one last thing too, pumpkins have seen a bit of a nerf, guys. They no longer last for multiple seasons. They'll grow for one season, and that's about it. They're saying that should help with the lag. None of the other plants grow for multiple seasons anyways, so why should pumpkins be special? So that was kind of like a little nerf to that. But that's pretty much the big changes, guys. I hope you really enjoyed checking it out. And I hope you're excited about all the new stuff. Go have fun, check it out, fly around in hot air balloons, see what you can do. I can't wait to see the awesome things that people pull off in those. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.